Good morning, students. Okay, today we are going to revise the question answer in these two chapters. Okay, so first we are going to see the question related to 9th chapter. Okay, so the first question is related to state the different types of public enterprises. Okay, so this is the first question. State the different types of public sector enterprises. So these are the different types of public sector enterprises are departmental organization, public corporation and government company. Okay, so the first question in very short answer is related to state the different types of public sector enterprises. Okay, so there are three types of public sector enterprises. One is departmental undertaking, the next one is public corporation, and the third one is about government company. Okay, then next we are going to see about the second question. What is the basic features of departmental undertakings? So what is the basic features of departmental undertakings? Here there are two features are mentioned because it is a very short questions. We mentioned two features only. First one is about formation, second one no separate legal entity. So a departmental undertaking is established either as a separate full-fledged ministry or as a subdivision of ministry. Therefore it is established by the government. Therefore the formation of the departmental undertaking is established either by a separate full-fledged ministry or as a subdivision of a ministry. Then no separate legal entity. A departmental undertaking does not have independent entity because it depends on the government. It is established by the government. So for each and every activities the departmental undertakings depend on the government. Therefore it has no separate legal entity. The next one is about the third question. Give two example of each of the following. That is private sector enterprises. We are going to give two example for each and every category. The private sector enterprises example is sole proprietor and partnership, and in case of global enterprises it is Coca-Cola Corporation and Unilever. Okay, so these are the two private sector enterprises. And for private sector enterprises, first one is sole proprietorship, second one is partnership. For global enterprises, first one is Coca-Cola Corporation and Unilever. Then we are going to see about the third question, public enterprises. So the two examples for public enterprises is Life Insurance Corporation of India and Oil Natural Gas Commission. Next one is about state the form of public enterprises which is most suitable for project related to national security. This is the next question relating to this fourth question. Strategic industries like defense and atomic power cannot be better managed other than government department, because here for defense and atomic power the secrecy is maintained. Therefore it is managed by the government department. Okay, so departmental undertakings can maintain secret in their working. So these two things, that is strategic industries like defense and atomic power cannot be managed by other than government departments, means it is managed only by the government departments. The next very short question is the Industrial Policies Resolution 2001 exclusively reserved for a few industries for the public sector. Name these industries. One is departmental undertaking, second one is public corporation, third one is government companies. So these are the three industries which is reserved in Industrial Revolution resolution. Okay, so nearly 5 very short answer in this lesson. First one is state the different types of public enterprises and what is the basic features of departmental undertaking, and give two examples of private sector enterprise, global enterprise and public enterprises, and state the form of public enterprises which is most suitable for project related national securities. Next we are going to see about the short answer. Okay, so here the first short answer is related to list the area where the state or central ownership is a preferred form of business organization. Justify your answer. Okay, here The list of areas where the state or central ownership is preferred form of business organizations are Coal Mines Authority Limited, Steel Authority of India Limited, Indian Telephone Industries, Tamil Nadu Corporation, that is Tamil Nadu State Corporation of India. These are the 4 areas where the state or central ownership is preferred form of business organization. The reason is a company owned by central or state government is called government company. Either whole or part, that is part of the capital, or majority of the capitals are owned by the government. Therefore, these are the area where the state or central ownership is preferred. The first one is Coal Mines Authority, then Steel Authority of India Limited, Indian Telephone Industries, and Tamil Nadu State Corporation of India. Then next short answer is related to what are the different kinds of organization that come under the public sector. So the different kinds of organization that comes under the public sectors are, one is departmental undertaking, second one is public corporation, third one is government companies. So this question is repeated in short answer as well as very short answer. Then next one, third one, list the name of some enterprises under the public sector and classify them. So under public sector, some sector enterprises are, one is departmental undertaking, example post and telegraphs. Then second one is public corporation, example RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, as well as LIC. Then third one is government companies, Coal Mines Authority Limited and TANSI, TANSI, TANSI. These are the 2 examples for government company. For each and every categories, we are giving 2 example. For departmental undertaking, one is post and another one is telegraph, and public corporation, RBI and LIC, and for government company, Coal Mines Authority Limited and TANSI. Okay. Next, we are going to see about the 4th question. Define departmental undertaking. Here we are giving the definitions of departmental undertaking. Departmental form of organization of managing state enterprise is the oldest form of organization. That is, this is the oldest form of organization which comes under the category of state enterprises. Under departmental form of organization, a public enterprise is run as a separate full-fledged ministry. That is, it is established by the government or as a major subdivision of department of the government. So this is the definition relating to departmental undertaking. The next one is about what is meant by government company. So a government company is defined under section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act 2013 as any company in which not less than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by the central government or by state government or by both the government, that is, or partly by the central government or partly by one or more state government, and includes a company which is subsidiary company of this government company. Here it includes a subsidiary of the government company as well as a government company is defined as, according to the section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act 2013, it should hold nearly not less than 51%. It means more than 51% of the shareholder or 51% of the share capital is held by the state government or by central government or by both the government. Then only it is comes under the category of government company. Okay. So these are the 5 short answer we are revised in this today class. That is, the areas where the state or central ownership is preferred form of business organization. Justify your choice of areas. What are the different kinds of organization that comes under the public sector, and list the names of some enterprises under public sector and classify them, and define departmental undertaking. The last short answer is what is meant by government company. Okay, now we are going to revise the long answer. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of departmental undertaking? Here you have to give nearly 5 points. Here advantages as well as disadvantages, both the questions are asked. So you must write nearly 3 advantages and 2 disadvantages. Then only you score 5 marks. Okay. So here the first advantages is easy formation, and second one is direct control of parliament and state legislature. Third one is secrecy maintained. Okay, so these are the three advantages. One is easy formation, second one is direct and control of parliament or state legislature, third one is secrecy maintained. So after writing these advantages, you have to explain each and every categories. That is, what is the meaning of easy formation, as well as meaning of direct and control of parliament or state legislature, and secrecy maintained. Okay, then the disadvantages are red tape and bureaucracy and instance of additional taxation. Here also I explain both the topic in order to get the full marks. Okay, so advantages you have to mention three advantages as well as explain it, and disadvantages also you have to write two disadvantages with the explanation. Okay, now the second one, what are the futures of public corporation? So here the futures are nearly, you have to write nearly 5 futures. One is special statute, second one is separate legal entity, third one capital provided by the government, fourth one financial autonomy, and fifth one managed by board of directors. So you write these 5 future with the explanation. Okay, so if you mention it, means you are getting only 1 marks. You have to write the topic as well as explanation. Okay, then only you score 5 marks. So futures of public corporations are special statute, separate legal entity, and capital provided by the government, financial autonomy, and the last one is about management by board of director. Okay, next the third question is related to what are the futures of government company. So here it is the registration under the Government Companies Act. The 5 futures are, first one is common company is registered under the Companies Act, and second one, executive decisions of the government, that is it depends on the government decision, and a separate legal entity. Fourth one, whole or majority capital is provided by the government, and fifth one, majority of the government director. So you have to write these futures of government companies, that is 5 futures of government company with the explanation. Okay, for your detailed answer. Then next one is about fourth question, what are the advantages of public corporation? So these are the following are the advantages of public corporation. First one is bold management due to operational autonomy, second one legislative control, third one qualified and centered staff. So these are the 3 advantages. For disadvantages you have to write nearly 2, because you have to write nearly 5 points with the subheadings. The fourth one, that is the disadvantages, is autonomy and flexibility, and fifth one is nearly misuse of monopolistic power. Okay, the last detailed answer in 9th chapter, what are the futures of departmental undertakings? Again we are seeing the same futures: formation, no separate entity, ultimate responsibility, government financing, and accounting and auditing. For each and every detailed answer you have to write the subheadings with explanation. Okay, so you must write the explanation also to score more marks. Okay, then next one is about 10th lesson, that is Reserve Bank of India. The 10th chapter is related to Reserve Bank of India. In this chapter we are going to revise the first very short answer. Okay, so the first very short answer is, what are the services included in service business? What are the services included in service business? That is the first question related to 10th chapter. So here we are seeing one by one the services related to service business. Okay, the first one is educational, medical, hospitality, and banking are the services included in the service business. That is education, medical, hospitality, and banking. These are the services included in the service business, and bank services is the nerve center of the industry and commerce. For example, for industry and commerce, banking is the nerve center. Okay, without banking nothing is possible in business as well as in industry. So this is about the service business in service industry. The next one is write the meaning of bank. What is the meaning of bank? In simple words, bank is an institution which deals in money and credit. Okay, so it deals with money as well as giving some credit loan facilities. The bank normally refers to commercial bank. If we say bank means it mention only commercial bank. So in simple words, bank is an institution which deals with money and credit. The bank normally mention about commercial bank. That is, it refers to commercial bank. Then third one, briefly explain about central bank. So for each and every nation, one central bank is there. So every nation has one central bank. It is owned by the government of country. The control over the entire banking system of the country is vested with this apex bank. That is, it's vested with the central bank. So the central bank is controlling all the banking system of a country. So central banks are known by different names in different countries. In India, RBI, that is the Reserve Bank of India, is our central bank. So this is the question related to central bank. So nearly three very short answers are there. One is, what are the services included in service business? That is education, hospitality, banking, all those comes under these services. Write the meaning of bank. So the bank is nothing but it is an institution which deals with money and credit. And briefly explain the central bank. Central bank is nothing but RBI in India. So RBI is the Central Bank of India. Okay, then comes to the short answer question. Mention the importance of banking services. So mention the importance of banking services. Banking services is the nerve center of the industries and commerce. It plays a vital role by providing the money required for their regular financing and development. That is a banking institution providing money facilities, that is credit facilities to their customers who are the businessmen. Okay, they are providing loan facilities to the businessmen in order to run their industries smoothly without any delay in work. So the importance of banking services is, it is the nerve center of commerce and industry. Without banking, there is no nothing is possible in industries and commerce. Okay, then explain the origin of RBI. So the Imperial Bank of India carried out the note issue and other functions of the central bank. In 1926, the Hilton Young Commission of the Royal Commission of Indian Currency of Finance made recommendations with create central bank. That is, with their recommendation they are creating the central bank. As the result of it, RBI Act 1934 was passed and RBI launched its operation from April 1, 1935. That is, from April 1, 1935 onwards it is working, and RBI was established with the share capital of 5 crores. Okay, divided into shares of rupees 100 each. The share capital of RBI while opening it is nearly only 5 crores only, with 100 rupees shares. Okay, with fully paid up shares. The head office of the RBI is situated at Mumbai. Okay, it is in Mumbai. So this is the point relating to the origin of RBI. The next one is about who are the person involved in RBI administration. So the RBI is governed by the Central Board of Directors with 21 members. Board is appointed by the Government of India. It consists of 1 governor and 4 deputy governor and 10 directors from various fields, 2 government officials and 4 directors, 1 each from local boards. So this is a question related to who are the person involved in RBI administration. Now we have moved on to the long answer. Nearly 2 long answers are there. One is relating to classify the various functions of RBI of India. Second one is about to explain the organization structure of RBI. In case of organization structure of RBI, you mentioned the origin of RBI as well as the second and third question in short answer, that is the person involved in RBI administration. So if you write the second and third short answer, you get 5 marks for second long detail, that is explain organization structure of RBI. Now we revise the first question, classify the various functions of RBI. So the functions of RBI can be grouped under 3 categories. One is leadership and supervision function. Second one is traditional function. Third one, promotional function. For each and every function you have to mention only 5 points. Okay, so you mention the points without explanation. Here the first point is leadership and supervisory function. India representative in world financial institution, regular and supervisor of Indian banking system, monetary authority, closely monitoring economic partnership, promptly responding to new challenges. These are the 5 headings related to leadership and supervisory function. The next one is about traditional function, banker and financial advisor to the government. Then monopoly of note issue, banker's bank, controller of credit and liquidity, and lender of last resort, clearinghouse services, and custodian of foreign exchange reservation. And in case of promotional function, it includes agricultural development, promotion of small scale industry, facilities of foreign trade, etc. So you mention nearly 5 points in each and every categories in order to get 5 marks in various functions of RBI. Okay, today we revised very short answer and detailed answer in both the chapter, that is 9th chapter as well as 10th chapter.